Hello, everybody. Again, this is Robert Dinar, licensed clinical mental health counselor. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about three different parts of your nervous system that can take over. Now, it's important to know I'm not a doctor, so don't look at any medical advice out of this. So this is just my take on the understanding of it in relation to the polyvagal theory. Now, people can usually go through three different states at any given time. Now, this isn't thoughtful. This is your nervous system. So it's your lower brain, a part of the brain that's been around well before we were even humans. But there's three parts. The parasympathetic nervous system, ventral vagal. So let's start there. So there's three parts. There's social engagement, fight or flight. I think most of you probably have heard of fight or flight, and it's a common one. But there's another one that takes over, and it's when you end up having freeze. Fight, flight, and freeze are not all categories the same. Fight and flight are, freeze is not. It's a different part of your nervous system. So let's talk a little bit about the first one, which is your ventral vagal. So this is where you feel joy, you feel present, you can feel grounded where you're at. Not grounded like you're in trouble, but grounded is like I get a sense of feeling connected here, curious, open, compassion, mindful. So this is a part where the key components, there's a lot of things that happen in this part, but a chemical called oxytocin is released, and that's a neurotransmitter that's found that helps with social bonds, and it allows the ability to relate and connect to others. So that's an important part. That chemical really helps in that area. Feeling connected, relaxed, chill, I guess is another way to put it. So we go to fight or flight. A lot of people have heard fight or flight. Now, when you're in fight or flight, it's your sympathetic nervous system kicking in. So this is for flight, where you have panic, fear, anxiety, worry, and concern. For the fight side of it, you have rage, anger, irritation, and frustration. Two things, they sound different, but this is the same part of your nervous system that's kicking in when that happens. Your sympathetic nervous system. So during this time, you don't have that oxytocin present. Now, I don't know of anybody that's in fight or flight that wants to feel connected to other people. Like let's kumbaya, let's relax, let's chill, let's hug it out, let's feel connected to others. No, you want to either fight through something or get away. Like, your object's not to feel connected, to feel loved. So that gets really reduced when this part of your nervous system kicks in. You no longer have that oxytocin we talked about. Other things that happen in fight or flight is like your heart starts beating faster. You do a lot more chest breathing. Things that try to get blood to your shoulders, your arms, your legs, to get you ready to either run or fight. The good thing about fight or flight is gosh, it's really uncomfortable. It can cause a lot of problems. But at least when you have fight or flight, like, you're still feeling like there's something I can do. I can either fight through this, or I can get away, run away. Like, there's still something you feel you can do. But now let's kick it up one more notch to freeze. So this is where your parasympathetic nervous system kicks back in, but your dorsal Vega, or your emergency state. So when you're in this, some common symptoms might be dissociation. So kind of like when you don't feel connected to yourself. Things feel dreamy or distant within you. Numbness, depression. You really conserve energy. Helplessness, shame, shut down, hopelessness. Sometimes this is where people will have a preparation for death or feel trapped. So in this one, a lot of times what shuts down is, like, it's really hard to even be aware of the human voice when you're in this stage. So this is like you're curled up in a ball, completely frozen, can't move. It's kind of like that. If you've seen Charlie Brown, there's that teacher that goes wah 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 wah. Like, you can hear the teacher, you can hear people, but it's hard to, like, be aware of and absorb what they're saying. That part kind of shuts down when you're in freeze, when the dorsal vagal kicks in. Your blood pressure goes down. You don't want to do any eye contact. It's a tough place to be in. This is a spot where you start to feel like there's nothing I can do. Now, if I were to look at an animal that might exhibit some of this, because none of this is thoughtful. This is all part of your nervous system. Like your nervous system does what it does. A possum. You ever heard of like possums play dead? You ever heard like play dead like a possum? So to me, that's an example of an animal being in freeze, where they can be poked at, prodded, yelled at, even hurt, and they don't move. They just continue to play dead. Like everything slows down, shuts down. They look dead, and frozen. They're not really dead. That's just a part of your nervous system that's kicked in, and it has helped many creatures in certain situations to have that freeze. Now, another good thing to know about, like to pay attention to, is when you're in any of these different parts of your nervous system, your posture tends to like go stiffen, go and just curl. You just keep curling all the way into freeze. So fight or flight, shoulders forward, everything's tense. You're like, let's go. Freeze, it's like you don't have to curl into a ball, but your body wants to kind of like just fall into that curled up position. So one of the things that can be helpful when that part of you is activated is to correct your posture. Like get your posture going, shoulders back, chin up. I call it royal breathing. Act like you're King of England or Queen of England out on the balcony, not a care in the world. Shoulders back, chin up, and do some of that breathing. But make sure you're not breathing from your chest. Make sure you're breathing from your stomach. Chest breathing is a part of that anxious fight or flight breathing. So really make sure your stomach's going in and out. Breathe as slow as possible. You want to try to have 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Other things is like we talked about, it's in your shoulders, it's in your biceps, it's in your legs. So doing some stretching, a nice stretch up, that can tend to help get things feeling, get things connected back together. Another thing is to really evaluate, like when you're in fight or flight or freeze, like how much danger am I in? Because the good thing is we're not possums, so we have the ability to do some help with some support and some skill training on reassessing, like should I do something different? Can I do something different? So that's the basics of how I interpret the polyvagal theory. If you want more information, please do some research. There's a lot more to this than what I'm saying, but I feel like it's important to know, like when your body's activated, because it's your nervous system. It's not something you think about. You want to use your body and your breathing and some of those skills to bring it back down. So people want to be like, why do the breathing? Everyone says breathe, but why? And here's some of the reason why. Like we're fighting against something that's not thoughtful. It's an body activation. So let's correct that posture. Let's do this breathing and practice it. Practice it so it can be something that is easy to do. That's a habit, because when you're fighting against something that's not thoughtful, you got to make something like a habit or not thoughtful. So it takes some practice to do this. Thanks for watching this, and hopefully this was helpful.